The request that was made was to talk about how to be authentic in a fake world. And we are talking about real likes and fake love. We are living in a generation where likes mean a lot. When somebody posts something, they quickly go to find out, how many likes have I got? And there are people whose days completely change because of the likes or no likes. They wake up, they look at their social media, depending on whether there are likes or not, that is what determines how the day goes. So we thrive on the likes in social media and elsewhere. And many people think that the people who are doing likes and what have you, they are friends. If I know people like I know people, and if I'm one of the people, I can tell you, many times I have liked something without even reading, without even listening to it. Somebody has posted something and I just like, because I think it will make them feel better. But I don't know what it is about. I just like, and sometimes also, because I know somebody in real life, I don't want them to start wondering that I put a post and Rose did not even comment or do anything. So I just like nasonga mbele kama injili. I don't look at it. So I know that there are people also who might be doing the same thing that I'm doing. So we end up finding our identity in social media. People have gone to the extent of doing crazy things so that they can get likes. Crazy, they do strange things because you are now doing the normal things, the likes are diminishing, isn't it? If I post myself eating ugali today for lunch, then people are like, nice meal, whatever. I post again in the evening, will people make any other comment? It now becomes kawaida. They won't. The same thing, they won't. So people just go to the point of they now want to do the craziest thing so that they can sustain, especially those who make content based on their real life. You just have to go now and do crazier and crazier and crazier and crazier things. Even looking at, let me say, for example, the content, some of my content that I don't watch, but sometimes people share a clip or they tell me, this day you are saying this. And I tell them, that's a 1.5 minute clip that I was answering a question, and the entire presentation was 1.5 hours. Then it was all missed, and something was picked that was a response to a question. And somebody has formed a whole philosophy, and they think they know me from that 1.5 minutes. They say, Rose does this. And I'm like, I was answering a specific question. So you are reading somebody's mail. That was an answer to somebody. It's not yours. So when I've been looking, I can understand how many of us must just feel confused. Sometimes we just feel confused because you wonder, who am I? What is my real identity? And let me ask a question on something that is very close. How many people here were born in the Adventist church? You were born, you found your parents. Might need to get you were born and you found your parents were in this Adventist church. You are born Adventist. Please raise your hand high. Are you ashamed? Okay. How many people chose to become Adventist? You were not born, you chose to become an Adventist. 1. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Out of all of us, only about 7 or 8 people chose to become Adventist. So maybe your family is not Adventist, but you are. So of those who were born in the Adventist church, how many have ever questioned the belief system? You have questioned the Adventist beliefs. So did you question and still remain, or how many questioned, went, then came back? You questioned, went, then came back. None. So did you get an answer when you questioned? Ama bado unatafuta hiyo? Bado unatafuta? You see, it's only a few of us who are authentic. If you have never questioned, you were just born here, then you've never questioned, you are following like a sheep to slaughter. You are just following because that's what your parents told you. And here you see I'm speaking to people who are over 15. You're not children. So you were born here, raised, and you've never even asked a question. Don't think necessarily you are the good child. The one who has never asked a question. Don't think so, because how is it that you're taught something, then you're just taking it? You know, the book Education by Ellen G. White says, the purpose of true education, I'm paraphrasing, is to teach the youth to be thinkers, not reflectors of other people's thoughts or minds or whatever that is. But the point I'm trying to raise is to be thinkers, not reflectors. So if you were born, you've never questioned, you're just here. So what is it really about? That because your parents told you, or because who told you? So I know it's a very good place to be when you're saying bado natafuta. That's very good. Because even my Gen Zs, I have 3. They have all told me, this is your church. Sisi bado tunatafuta. Hii ni church yako. You raised us in your church. What you knew, you raised us. But we are not sure it's our church. And I said, tell me more. They said, but your mother is not Adventist. My mother is not. She's in her own church. Then they say, our grandfather, my father-in-law, is not an Adventist. He's in his church. So they say, you see, you found, we also want to find. Then I said, okay, so do you feel sad that I raised you in the Adventist church? They say, no, you did your best with what you knew. You left your mother's belief system, found yours. We also want to find ours. And I say, correct. That tells me there's something I did right. Because I've been able to give you are even able to verbalize that you're finding. So it's a good thing if you're at a place where you're finding, because you must find God for yourself. The God that was handed to you by your parents is not sustainable. It's not going to sustain you in this world. You must find, because for all of us, trouble is going to come. And trouble does not mean a major thing, but it can also mean a major thing. And when that trouble comes, as we sang in the morning, will your anchor hold? When that time comes, what are you going to hold on to? You can't say, my mother, my father, my what? So one of the losses that all of us will have to experience is maturational loss. You have matured. You can no longer keep holding to your parents. You must ask, who am I? Who am I? You know, in our family, everybody uses their name. None of us shares a name. It was intentional. My husband uses his 2 names. He's Jared Nyambane. I use my name. I'm Rose Misati. I've chosen to use my father's name because my father died when I was 2 years. Otherwise, by now, maybe I would be using Rose Kwamboka. But I decided to stay with it because I said, my father died, but he lives in me. So I've chosen to keep that. My children, they all use their 2 names. So if you met them somewhere, you would never know their brothers, because each of them just uses their 2 names. That's it. Because we said, guys, we must find our identity. You must leave your parents behind, find your own identity, because sometimes we can tend to have privilege or even cling to identities that are handed to us, and we don't find our identity. I'm not telling you to drop your parents' name. It's good to have that covering if you want to. But then for me, it was very intentional, because I just said, you know, guys, I'm raising leaders. I'm raising people who will have their name, not use mine, because I've also made my name. So then I will share with you, learning from the story of Joseph, how can you be authentic in a fake world? Because there's just a lot of fakeness. You know, the way there's makeup, there are lights, there are filters, there's everything, until sometimes you're wondering, okay, so what is real and what is fake? And I know there are many people who have actually left the church, young people especially, and I'm glad that young people are able to ask questions we could never ask. There are people who have left the church because they say there's so much performance. There's a lot of performative religion. I think so too, actually. There's a lot of performative. There's no real, like you're wondering. In fact, one of my sons would tell me, munatulisha jaba hapa. I'm like, tunawalisha jaba aje? They're like, this religion of yours, does it save? I'm like, it does. Then he says, but I don't understand some of the things guys are struggling with. I don't understand whether this religion of yours is real, because does it save you? It would have saved you from some of the struggles. And I understand really what they are saying. I totally get it. So the point is that authenticity, I don't like using the word authenticity because I think it has been thrown around too much. But let's talk about being real. You know, like being real. And being real, I don't mean that you do wickedness, because at me I'm being real. That's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is your thoughts and your words and your actions, are they aligned? Because that is one of the foundation of mental illness. That is a foundation of mental illness. When your thoughts, your words, your actions are not aligned. What you're saying is not what you believe, is not what you're doing. That is how I'm defining authenticity, not the street language. Authenticity, what I am saying, what I am doing, and what I am thinking. Is it aligned? You see? Is it consistent? The faith that you're living, you as a young person in church, you are purporting to hold onto this faith. Is that your lifestyle? Or your lifestyle, the moment you step out, you are somebody else. And then when you come to church, you're somebody else. You're not lying to anybody more, but you're lying to yourself, because it causes internal turmoil. Okay, so let me share about, will I share 7? Then we can talk about it. 7 things that you can do so that you can be real. Be real in a world that is not real. Number 1 is that we need to process our own childhood issues, all of us. If somebody says they were raised by perfect parents, I know where a liar is, or I know somebody who is unconscious. There is nobody who is perfect. Even myself, who helps other people heal, my children also go to somebody else to heal, because I have messed them up. And I tell them, you will mess your own kids. That's the reality. That's part of the human experience. So sometimes they would even tell me, can't you even use your own material in your parenting? I'm like, no. So they look there, but you tell parents this, and you're not even using, your own material. I use it at least 50% of the time. I try. But the rest of the 50%, I say, you can figure it out with a therapist later on. The way I've figured out, everybody will figure out. So what I'm saying is that pain and trauma, we try, but it's part of the human experience, okay? It's very difficult for you to live an authentic life when you are still blaming your parents. Parents can be blamed to an extent. To an extent, they can be blamed. But there comes a time when, like Joseph, maybe you are in Egypt. Your father is not there to defend you. So you have to, lazima upambane na hali yako. The Bible says in Proverbs 19:26, he who mistreats his father and chases away his mother is a son that causes shame and brings reproach. So if you mistreat your father and you chase away your mother, you are a son that causes shame and you bring reproach. It's very difficult for you to live an authentic and fulfilled life if you have not forgiven your parents. It's very hard. It's impossible actually to get into a healthy relationship, especially with the opposite gender, if you have not forgiven your parents, because whatever you are running away from, you are actually going to get it, whatever you are running away from. So you have to deal with it. Am I saying that parents are perfect? No, they are not, and you're not. That's the point. But then you need to realize that life is not black or white. It is shades of gray, And then number 2 is, you need to be very intentional with the people you associate with. We need to realize they are friends for a reason and friends for a season. There comes a time when we need to release friends or situations that are no longer serving us. And I'm not saying lose, because if we say lose, you will go find them again. But there comes a time where you need to release. Do you know that we have basement friends and balcony friends? We have basement friends and balcony friends. Balcony friends keep taking you under. When you are with them, you feel so low. But basement friends take you under. Balcony friends take you up, and they show you what the possibilities that you have. So they are friends, you are together in the basement. You are now in the balcony, and you want to keep pulling them. Chances are they'll take you down to the basement, isn't it? You cannot pull them up. I told somebody yesterday that there's a world of possibility I never saw until somebody made me see that world of possibility. They told me one time, this person is a client of mine, and they told me, I need you to help my extended family. And because my extended family is up country, instead of them coming all the way to Nairobi, we want to pay for you the travel expenses. You go up country, we give you accommodation, you work with my family. So at first I felt it inconveniencing. She said, no, we will facilitate everything. I went to heal that family, but I got healed. So I went there, I was picked, I went to the home. And I looked at the home, the way this person, she was young, she's young, but the way she had made for the mother a house, magnificent house. There are like 10 in the family, and she's among the last. But the mother told me this house was financed single-handedly by my daughter, and it was a wonderful house and beautiful compound. I just sat there in awe. For the number of days I was there, I looked, and this mother gave me stories about how she didn't have an education. She was a teenage mother. She worked so hard and educated her children, and now their daughter had wiped her tears, and she was living a good, comfortable life. And I looked at it, I said, it's actually possible for me to do this for my mother. I had never thought it possible. And so I came and I told my siblings, I said, we can do this. And it did not look possible. But long story short, within 6 months, I had also transformed with the help of my siblings. We are transformed where my mother lives, almost like the other place. But it's a possibility I had never imagined. So then as I was talking to her, I told her, you know, you took me to heal your family, but I'm healed. It has made a difference. Then she went further and she told me, oh, you know, so she was just sharing with me. And she told me how her and her husband in their 30s, they managed to buy property in 2 upmarket areas in Nairobi. I won't name the areas, but upmarket areas. She said, yeah, so we bought a property, we bought it. I said, I've always thought that people who are young and they live in some of those places, I thought that they have inherited. Like I never thought people in their 30s could have bought properties in those areas without backing of their parents. I'd never thought, I tell you. I was in the balcony. No, not the balcony. I was actually in the basement. So she opened my eyes. I said, it's possible. I continued. I've always thought I was a dreamer, but I started dreaming bigger and bigger. And long story short, we managed to get a property in one of those areas that they talked about. And up to now, I just talk to her, I tell her, my goodness, you have opened my eyes to possibilities that I never thought existed. And I keep opening my eyes wider. And you see, that's why I'm telling you, if you are still in the basement, you will be in the basement. You will never see the possibilities. But if you are with a friend, you go with them to the balcony and you look. You see the way the Bible says in the story of Joshua, that wherever they stepped, God gave them. They claimed that promised land by walking in that promised land. But if they never stepped on that promised land, they would never have conquered that promised land. So you may be hanging around in places where it's about pity party, it's about complaining. Be allergic to complaining and pity party and open your eyes to possibilities. Talking about friends, you know, it's very hard for you to outrun your inner circle. It is so hard. Maybe you have seen a group of friends, you find they all struggle with the same things. I have had not many, but I've had close friends. And it's like all the mistakes my friends made, I also made those mistakes. But one thing I've never done in my life, in my adulthood, well, let me say in my life, I've never drunk, I've never smoked. I've never been to a bar. Like, you know, the way you go to a bar, you sit. Not because I'm righteous or I'm strong. No, it's because I've never had a friend who drinks. I've never had a friend who smokes. But I know if I had a friend who drinks, if I had a friend who smokes, I would have done the same. Because my friends have made the same mistakes, because we have made other mistakes. Tell me your friends and I will tell you your character. The Bible says in Proverbs 12:26, the righteous chooses his friends carefully, but the way of the wicked leads them astray. If there's one favor you can do to yourself, is to choose your friends wisely and be that friend. Be that friend. I told you in the morning that many of these opportunities that you get to hear, opportunities that make a difference, Those opportunities are through somebody who knows somebody. You will not find them advertised. You won't. It's through somebody who knows somebody, okay? So do not underestimate the power of connections, be it in your church group, be it in the school that you went to, be it somewhere. I mean, people you are aligned, you're in the same place, yeah? When I think that was about 2-3 years ago, I'm in a high school group. And of course, just like many groups, a lot of people are not active, and some people, when an idea is floated, they just like to shoot it down or argue. There are people who wake up just arguing about everything. So in that high school group, I remember my firstborn son had just finished high school. So in that high school group, somebody shared a link, and they said, there's an institution here that is offering a scholarship in software engineering. So she shared on the group. Typically, I'm not one person who pays attention to free things. I always just think it's a scam. So I would have thought if it was shared in any other group, I would have thought it's a scam. But this is somebody who went to the same high school. And I know her. She was behind me a year or two. So I know her. And she said, guys, this is not a scam. I work for this university. It's not in Kenya. I work for this university. It's not a scam. So I said, okay, I picked the link I shared with my son because he's interested. He was interested in that area. So I shared the link. I told him, can you apply? He didn't apply. Just like me, because he has learned from the best, he also doesn't believe in clicking on free things. Thinks it's a scam. So he didn't apply. So on the day that the deadline, I don't know whether my schoolmate posted. I don't know how I knew. So on that day where it was being submitted the last day, we were going somewhere out of Nairobi for a dowry negotiation, something for a family member. Then on the way, the way you finished school, you are not busy. So when your parents are going somewhere, they say, twende. So he accompanied us. Then I asked him as we were driving towards Thika Road, I asked, did you apply? Then he said, no, I didn't. I said, why? Today is the deadline. He said, I didn't apply. I said, apply. Thankfully, by that time, he used to listen to me. Now he wouldn't listen to me. So I told him, no, you must apply. You must apply. So you know what he did? We were at the petrol station waiting for some family members to come from up country. He sat down using his phone. He applied. There. In fact, I keep saying thankfully. As I said, he used to listen to me those days. I said, apply. So he sat down, he applied there at the petrol station. I said, please apply, then you are not taken, so that we just say you applied. Because it was shared by a schoolmate. You see, networks. And I had joined that group just a few, maybe months ago. So he applied. Then he told me, I have been selected. So I said, go for it. Then he said, but they need you to put in 80 hours a week. It needed like 80 hours a week, 60, 80, many, not more than 40 hours. Because I know it meant that he had to sleep for 4 to 6 hours. I told him, cheza kama wewe. This one you can do. He said, I said, no, you can do. He said, but I'm joining university soon. I said, no. In our family, we don't give up. We do things. So you really have to do. So he started doing. And I told him, as we start things, we finish. We don't leave halfway. So this 9 months or 1 year, whatever it was, he knows the details, you'll finish. So he started doing. And we would sleep, leave him awake. We wake up, we find him awake. I don't know. Then my schoolmate, I would ask her, this thing I'm seeing my son is on the laptop so many hours. She said, let him do, because this thing is so competitive. Many of the young people don't finish it because it's very rigorous. He joined university. So he continued. He's in the traffic, he's doing. Anyway, let me shorten the story because I'm going somewhere. Anyway, he eventually did. He completed. It was very intense. I don't know, 9 months or 1 year. Now, the point I'm trying to say is that after he completed, it opened great opportunities for him and has made a total difference in his life. He's still in university. It has made a complete difference in his life. And I keep on telling him, if I wasn't in that high school group, we would never have gotten to know this, because he said after that cohort they were taken, the rest are paying a lot of money to do that. So I said, you see, I was in that high school group. This was shared, I shared with you, I pressured you, you accepted, and you put in the work, and now it's completely changed his life. You see? Which groups are you? Some of you are in groups that every time you are fundraising for an alcoholic classmate, hiyo ndio mna fundraise tu, kuongea kusema ako kwa mtaro, they took drugs, they in a rehab, hakuna shida, ni sawa, lakini ujue basement, hatukai kwa basement sana. Unakaa basement kidogo, because even the oxygen at the basement is not the oxygen at the balcony. So usishinde hapo kila siku ati we ni rescue mission. You want to hear this one, sijui, they never proceeded to college, they got married, now they have 4 children. That's not your business. Hizo ndio vitu unaongea tu kila siku. It's affecting the person that you are. Wasaidia kidogo lakini usonge mbele. Be like the good Samaritan. He didn't stay with that man. He took him to the inn, he paid, he said, I have gone. When I come back, I'll pay. So you can always help somebody from a distance. Please, whatever circles that you are in, they will make a very big difference. We said you will not outrun your inner circle. And it's okay to release people when it comes to a time you realize we are not aligned. You just release and then move forward. That way you can also get other people who are aligned with your purpose or your calling at that time. Number 3, learn to rise up early while the world is still asleep. You remember, early to bed and early to rise makes a man or a woman healthy and wealthy and wise. Get membership to the 5 a.m. club. Get your membership to the 5 a.m. club. Usiwe ni wa kulala till people have to check whether you died or you are away. Mimi nakwambia kama unangorota kwa nyumba ya wazazi wako, jifikirie sana, na unaamuka unatumia tishu, alafu unaingia kitchen, unakula chakula, unarudi kulala. Hasara kabisa, hasara. Let your parents smile when they think about you. Not at, oh my God, not again. Hata mzazi wako anaweza kukuogopa sana, hata anakuavoid. Unapiga simu achukui, because every time you call, mom, unaweza niokolea? They just know that ni kuokolewa kila wakati. Let your parents pick your phone call joyfully, because anajua, my child, and they are smiling. Sio kukunja uso. Yeah? So please learn to rise up early. Get membership into the 5 a.m. club. Proverbs 20:13 says, love not sleep, lest you come to poverty. Open your eyes and you shall be satisfied with bread. Open your eyes. You shall be satisfied with bread. It is good to sleep for 7 to 9 hours, as we said. Early to bed and early to rise. But sometimes there's a season that you may not be able to sleep for 7 hours, isn't it? The planting season is a busy season. Yeah, for example. So it's good for you to acknowledge your season of life. When I was a student at the university, every day I used to sleep at 6 p.m., wake up at midnight. Every day, apart from Friday and Saturday evening. No, but even Saturday, yeah. So apart from Friday evening, I used to sleep at 6 p.m., wake up at midnight. Because the course I did was very intense. We used to go to class 8 to 5 a.m. every day. And part of that class work was lab work, which needed you to sit down, write a long report. So that report is needed. I still need to revise. So I figured about 6 p.m. we have arrived in the hostel. People are making noise. Some they are doing what? So I said, no, why at this time you try to read, you're distracted, you're even tired because you've been in class the whole day. So I would come. I'm not telling you to do that. I'm just sharing my experience. So I would come at 5, maybe 5:30. I'm in the hostel. I have my supper. Then I sleep at 6 p.m. Then midnight, I'm awake. That's when people are getting to bed. Then I read for 6 hours. So I read from midnight to 6 a.m. Okay? So in between, I'm writing a report. I'm doing what? Then 6 a.m., I go to class. So I did that every day until, apart from Friday. That's what I needed to do. But I know that for many people, your course does not need you. So for me, that was the planting season. But for many people, maybe your course does not need that much time. But again, I am wondering, if your course does not need that much time, why would you come back after you finished, you start saying, now I have no job. and then you're dragging your suitcase back to your parents. No. You had 4 years in the arena of life to figure out and see what to do. You can't. For me, and I know I've shared this elsewhere, my children know very clearly that my support ends with your undergraduate degree. The day you sit your last exam, that's the end of any money from me. So I've told them, am I a cruel mother? Maybe I am, but it has helped them. So I've just said, this time, I have given you possibilities and opportunities. Cheza kama wewe. It's up to you now. You can see what you need to do. But during all this time, if you're waking up at 5 a.m. and there's no reading to do, develop yourself. Do something. So by the time you're completing university, if you are coming back to the house and taking a bill. You must take a bill. So if you come back, you will take water, you take electricity, you take steamer, you must pay for something. But you have completed undergraduate. What do you want again from me? So you can come back, that's okay. I won't chase you, but you come and take a bill. I wish your parents were here. It's good they're not here, can't they? You must take a bill. Because when are you going to begin exercising responsibility? We have girls who are getting married to go and depend on their husbands. They never knew the price of rent. They don't know the price of banana. They just scatter. They scatter. You gather, they scatter. You gather, they scatter. They never understood. They have not demonstrated the ability to take care of themselves. They just want to get a rich husband to whisk them from poverty. No, you have to be the rich one yourself. We have young men, we have men, they are completing because they are still living with their parents. They have got no idea how to take care of a wife, how to take care of a child. Those are the ones who even pack a paper bag, they move into a woman's house. Shame on you. How do you even do that? You cannot move into a woman's house, she feeds you and respects you. That will never work. You cannot use those in the same sentence. You're fed, you're clothed, you're housed, you're respected. No. The masculine-feminine polarity is lost. You have to become the woman and sit down and cook. That's it. You see, people are saying yes because it's true. It becomes very confusing that somebody has come in and they are saying, now I need to be respected. No, you come and become the woman and the cook and do everything and respect. That's the way it works, my friend. This sounds strong. But it's the truth. Let's say the truth. It just can never, ever work. It can't. And those who try to make it work, they get mentally ill. Because they're trying to go against what? To go against nature. It doesn't work like that. I say, the day your wife, you don't have wives, the day your wife begins paying rent, move out. Move out. Even in our Kisi culture, men could never marry kama hajajenga nyumba. Huwezi oa ulete bibi yako saiga. That can never work. You have to jenga. So the first question you will be asked, the first question I was asked before my husband married me, my mother asked, nabwate nyumba? Iyo tu, aliuliza hivyo, mimi namwambia, so mommy, does it matter? See, as we're in university, we're in Nairobi. She said, enakobo oli nabwate nyumba? Answer my question. Does he have a house? Where is he taking you? I'm like, yeah, like there was a lot of wisdom. Like, and she's not asking for a mansion or a mansionette, but she's saying, where are you going to sleep? Where are you going to sleep? You see, it's not an emergency. You must demonstrate anakupeleka wapi. So there was a lot of wisdom because it was a demonstration that you're competent and capable of taking care of someone. You understand? Okay. So where were we? We were talking about learning to rise up earlier. So I told you, I said, now as you finish, so let me complete the story. So I told these guys, as you finish, my support ends. So one of them finished this year, she moved out. She didn't come home because I said, girl, you come here, you buy the food. So you will be feeding us. The girl didn't come. She went and she's hustling. So when I contacted her, she said, I got a job. And I was so happy. She got a job with no influence from me whatsoever. It doesn't matter what job. But the point is, you got the job. So my son said he's completing next year, December. He said, by the way, I love my life here. The bedroom is comfortable, everything is good. So when I finish, I'll come home for some time and I'll take care of water, electricity, and Wi-Fi. I said, very good. So I said, very good, very good. Because the house is bought. So he was basically going to take over the rest of the expenses and maybe we'll only be buying food. I said, very good. After some time, he came back and said, I have reflected very deeply. And I have actually decided to move out because I've decided that money can enable me to move out. I said, very good. So he's finishing next year, December. I'll come back and tell you. And he's moving in December next year. So my house is becoming bigger and bigger. So one moved, the other one is moving, so I'll remain with two. When their time comes, they will move. Yeah, they do their time and they move. So that's it. So I told them, by the time you're getting a girlfriend or a boyfriend, you're in your own house. You cannot be dating and you're in my house. It can't work. It doesn't work like that. No. You start activities of dating and courtship, you're in your own space, not here. Here, there are only two people allowed to be in a relationship, me and your father, because we own this space. You're not allowed. Will they do it? They might do it secretly, but they are going against what their doctor recommended. And one of the outcomes of going against the doctor's recommendation might even be death. And you will die and you'll be buried. I'm joking. But, you basically get the drift. Because I don't want to imagine that you're taking a girlfriend out and you're using my money. No. I cannot be waking up early, belonging to the 5 a.m. club, and a girl is being taken Java with my money. No. I don't want to think about that because I will haunt you to death if you do that. Okay? That's not going to happen. Well, it may, but it's against doctor's recommendation again, as I said. So when the world is still asleep, learn to wake up and do personal development. Read a book, listen to a podcast, because the Wi-Fi is very strong at that time. The internet is very strong. You can listen to a podcast. Number 4, be diligent in all your undertakings. Account for each and every minute of your day. Account for each and every minute of your day. Proverbs 22:29 says, See ye a man diligent in his business, he shall stand before kings. He shall not stand before obscure men. There's a saying I like by Chinua Achebe in his book, Things Fall Apart. He says, when a child washes his hands, he can dine with the elders. So when you are diligent, you have washed your hands and you can dine with the elders, and there's no limit as to the possibilities that are before you when you become diligent. Some of us just waste time. We are just scrolling on useless videos that are not adding any value. And we know so much about people's lives when we don't even know how our body works. You don't even know your own personal hygiene. As in, every detail. I wonder, every detail about celebrities' lives and what is happening, but you don't even know about your own body, the way it works, the way it functions. You don't even understand which foods work for you, which foods don't work for you. Let me go to number 5. I'm seeing our time is going. Invest in life skills. Invest in life skills, emotional intelligence, anger, stress management. We have just been taught. Discipline yourself. Have delayed gratification. Learn to cope with intense emotions while you are remaining calm. Our parents, I believe all of us, our parents have given us education. Ile ya vitabu tuko nayo. But not many of our parents have been able to give us emotional intelligence. And specialist after specialist, neurosurgeons, when they are asked, what is the one skill that you would recommend somebody to have for success? They normally say the one skill is emotional regulation. Learning to manage your emotions. Wanting something so bad and saying no. The reason as to why we say, part of the reason we say teenage relationships and teenage sex, they are very dangerous for me, is because they don't give you an opportunity to learn critical life skill, self-management, self-regulation. You feel like having sex, You just go, you smash someone, because they are very affordable and available, even for free. And when you are thinking that you're quenching your thirst, the point is that you're not learning critical life skills. You don't get to learn to manage your emotions. There's somebody I know who got married as a teenager. The reason why they got married as a teenager, somebody close to me, is because they said that it's very hard for me. There's that period in Form 2 when the sexual desires are very intense. This person said, if I don't get married, I will get HIV. So they went ahead and got married at that point. I know now the law is very strict, of course, about sexual consent and everything. But at that time in the village, the person got married. So unfortunately, they didn't have a chance to learn how to manage their emotions. So they got married. Later now, of course, anytime the wife to this person gets a child, either when the wife gets a child or the wife is away, they will be smashing anything that is breathing on the road everywhere. Because they say, how can I stay without sex for these 3 or so months when my wife is pregnant, has delivered, or they have traveled? They cannot. They say it's not possible for a man to abstain for this long, because they never learn to abstain. So they never learn. Don't think, most of you are not married, don't think that marriage is going to be a solution for your unregulated sexual desires. Actually, there is more sex that is happening among single people than married people. Did you know that? I'm not saying that needs to happen, but you're in institutions of higher learning. You know what happens. You know how the emergency contraceptive pill, you know how much it's being abused, left, right, and center. So if you are thinking that, I cannot manage my sexual desires, if I get married, mambo itakuwa sawa. Tukwambie ama tusikwambie? Tukwambie? Utajua ujui, my friend. Utajua ujui. So if you did not learn to manage your desires, so this person would now go sleeping with others, saying, I can't control myself. And definitely they are at risk. Maybe they are already HIV infected, okay? Because they cannot control themselves. So the reason is not because unaharibiwa starehe, that could be it, and of course it's a sin. But for me, the part I'm talking about is I'm saying, if you never learn to manage your desires, nobody is going to help you control your desires. You have to learn to manage your desires. In fact, if you're desperately feeling like you need to get into a relationship, you need to have sex, that is the last thing you need. Because you're not ready. Instead, you are hungry. And hungry people make desperate shoppers. When you are hungry and you go shopping, you will pick all manner of rubbish. Proverbs 25:28 says, he that has no rule over his own spirit is like a city that is broken down and without walls. You need to have boundaries. Don't think that the desire you have for nice things, for relationship, for whatever, that desire does not go away. So it is there, it even gets intense, you even have more options, but you need to learn to control your desires, okay? Number 6, take your gift. I said this in the morning and I will repeat. Take your gift to the marketplace. Learn to monetize your gifts. Everybody has a gift. And if you cannot think about your gift immediately, think about what you loved to do when you were in class 4, grade 4, 10 years. What did you love to do? And what is it that you can do even without being paid? You don't get tired. The more you do it, the more you get refreshed. That is the gift you're taking to the marketplace. You may be serving here in church in the photography communication department. You may be serving on Sabbath. But please, from tomorrow, charge for that gift. From tomorrow. Whoever is contacting you for that gift, charge. You are making very nice chapatis. People are enjoying. Charge for that service. Do you understand? Take your gift to the marketplace. Charge. People do not value the thing that they get freely. Anything somebody gets free, anaona kama ni bure, isn't it? When I was about 10 years or younger, I loved to talk. I would tire my mother, talking. She's in the shamba, I'm just talking. One thing I thank her for, she never told me to keep quiet. She never told me, nyamaza, the way sometimes parents would say, keep quiet, you're just talking. My mother let me talk, even when it was obvious that she was not hearing. I think she was listening, but she was so overwhelmed with many things, but she would just let me talk. I feel better. Now, as much as I have studied what I have studied, I talk for a living. I talk and I'm paid. If you call me any day that is not on Sabbath, you will pay. I would not come to speak for free. You will pay. So on Sabbath, I do it as service to God and service to humanity. But from the moment I arrive home tonight, I'm going to be charging for my speaking services. And I do that every single day. And by God's grace, I earn money every day through my gift of speaking. I have a job that I do, which I studied, but my gift of speaking is a gift that keeps giving. So I earn money even before taking breakfast, because my mother raised me that I do not qualify to eat breakfast if I have not earned, not necessarily earned, but if I have not done something worthwhile. That's how she raised us. She said, when you wake up, before you stagger to go and look for food, do something. She said, go and even pretend that you're picking rubbish. You must do something. For her, that is the way she understood it. For me, at first I didn't like it, but now she raised me to know that my best hours when I'm able to do something, and it doesn't necessarily have to mean I'm making money, but I am most of the time, but maybe I go exercise, I'm reading a book, I'm listening to a podcast early in the morning before breakfast. So you can study what you're studying, it's okay, I studied what I studied, but now, as I told you, my gift of speaking, it earns me income daily. And I told God, I never want to come to your house empty-handed. That every time I come to church and they are passing the basket for tithe and offering, every Sabbath I always have something to give. So, and sometimes you find people are waiting to earn at the end of the month golden chains. You now need to think beyond the colonialism, the slavery of earning per month. As young people, as Gen Zs, you have to depart from our thinking as your parents who are employed, and you can know very clearly when they have earned, because when they have earned that day, you are eating animals, as they say. Let me say it this way. When the people who depend on salary at the end of the month, and I know they will attack me, the week they have earned, they are eating animals. The week after, they are eating birds. The week after, they are eating product of animals. The following week, they are eating the food of animals. Do you understand? There is nothing wrong eating the food of animals, the grains and the greens and everything. But I'm trying to show you, you can see the progression. Hiyo wiki ya kwanza, they are eating beef and goat and sheep and what. The following week, they are eating chicken and whatever. And then the other week after that, they're eating eggs and milk. The last week, they're eating vegetables and grains. It's good to vary, but the point I'm saying, there's nothing wrong totally with vegetables. What I'm saying is, you can actually just see. You see the way it's going. You don't need to live like that. You were created to live an abundant life. A life that is evergreen. Like, people don't need to come to your house and they know what date of the month it is without looking at the calendar. That is how the colonialists trained us. I'm glad that you Gen Zs are revolutionizing everything. You're challenging our colonial thinking. The colonialists trained us for the industry and the factories. You go to school, you are employed, you depend on somebody until the end of the month. What a miserable life that is. I don't admire it. I'm not inspired by that kind of life. Because you need to take your gift to the marketplace so that you have a gift that keeps on giving. There are things you can do very easily as a person, and sometimes you think everybody can do it. There are people who, if they stand in front of a congregation, they sweat, words don't come out. I'm just saying. There are people like me, they try singing, you wonder, I thought frogs are extinct. Funny, there are frogs here again. Where are these frogs coming from? You start looking for a frog and it's missing. So the point I'm trying to say is that for you, you do it very easily. You think it comes easily for everybody. It doesn't. You can monetize that gift. So use that gift. Monetize your gift. That's why, as I kept on saying, you are 18, you have a bank account. Your bank account ni ya nini? Sio ya help peke yake. Na sio ya kuwekewa pesa na mzazi. Use that bank account. Use it. Use your KRA. Use your ID. That's why you have it. So use your gift. So when you're using your gift, you are not waiting for an employer. You are not saying, oh, now me, I finished university. I have no job for 2-3 years. I'm living with my parents. No. You are using your gift even as you wait for the job. Finally, learn to enjoy your life. This is probably the most free life you will ever have. Enjoy your life. Ecclesiastes 10:9 says, rejoice, O young man, in your youth, and let your heart cheer you in the days of your, and let your heart cheer you in your youth, and walk in the ways of your heart and in the sight of your eyes. But know that for all these things, God will bring you into judgment. The most beautiful or handsome person is a person who is happy, clean, and smiling. There is nobody who is unattractive when they are happy, clean, and they are smiling. That's a very attractive person. That person qualifies to be beautiful, to be handsome. Enjoy your youth. Enjoy your youth. And whatever choices you're making, always make choices that serve you first. That's not selfishness, that is self-love. Ask, is this choice serving me? There's a young man who was in a certain school in Nairobi. I'm going to take questions now. He had come from the village. He was in a certain school. During those times, they used to be given time to go away over the weekend. You go, then you come back. It was a national school. So that school was near a market. Then when he would go just walking in the market, then he noticed that in that market, they were selling very nice T-shirts. And the price was very fair. They were selling nice Mutumba T-shirts. The price was very fair. So he bought a few T-shirts, and his friends were like, hey, this T-shirt is nice, because the school was in a cold place. So they needed T-shirts to wear from inside their shirts. They're like, these T-shirts are so nice. And then he said, yeah, I can get them for you. And he started getting orders for T-shirts. So when the others are over the weekend going to Karumaindo and Koinange, him is going to the market. He buys T-shirts, he comes back with them to school, and he sells. He would buy maybe, let's say, 100 shillings, he sells for 200. And there were many students in the school, maybe 1,000, and they are ordering T-shirts. They are ordering T-shirts and other things. And he said, and that was a long time ago, he said he touched his first 1 million. He touched it as a student when he was under 18. Within that period, and when he would make money, he used to go give the parents to put for him in the bank. That time there was no M-Pesa, so he would make the money, carry it home. The parents would keep for him the money. By the time he finished Form 4 from that school, he made his first 1 million. He made more, but the point I'm saying, he touched his 1 million from that school. And right now, as we are speaking, the person is maybe in their 40s and 50s, and they are running a multi-million business. School, they're running a school, they're doing many things. So he continued with that. So he saw possibility. You may not see that particular possibility, but him, anytime he goes out, he just walks around. Learn to walk around and reflect and ask, what is it that people need? What is the need that I can solve? When I was in Mombasa sometime, I'd gone to Mombasa. Okay, I've gone to many places, but I remember one time I was in Mombasa and I was telling people, I have looked around and I have seen the things that you need. If I come to this place within the first 1 month, I'll make 1 million Kenya shillings. If I just come here, because I have seen what you need. They said, really? I said, yes, you will see me touching 1 million, and there are people who have been seated here and they haven't. Then I went to Kisii. I had gone for a crusade. We were with Joseph there, the people of Kenya, and I told them, my goodness, you are here crying how you have no money. And I have walked here, I've seen bananas falling from the tree. I've seen avocados being eaten by cows. Big avocados, the ones we buy for 80 bob 100 shillings in Nairobi. And there's Ena coach, there's a transport just here that delivers mizigo to Nairobi every day. I will get these avocados, get these bananas, put them as a parcel, send to Nairobi, talk to somebody, they sell immediately. The bananas will arrive at 5 a.m. By 9, everything is sold. I put the same day. I just walk around that way. I will have supported the farmers here who have no market for their product, and I'll make money for myself. And you're here crying, asking for help. You're not seeing the possibilities that you have here. You're saying there's no market for bananas because everybody has banana. And this same banana is very expensive in another place because it's organic, it's natural. So can you open your eyes so that you see possibilities? If you wake up like anybody else, you will never see possibilities. But if you wake up early, you walk around, people are still dozing, they are still, sleepwalking or sleep talking. You are just walking around and you're looking. What can I see? What can I see here? Some of you are very good when it comes to team building and everything. And we ask you to take care of our children, our adventurers, our pathfinders, and you do that very well. But why don't you charge? Why don't you tell us this holiday, I can take your children. We have schools here. You tell every parent, pay 1,000 shillings per day. We go, we teach your children skills, and we play, football, and your child comes. Do you think they will refuse to pay? I will pay because I don't want my child to stay at home on their gadgets because I trust you. And that's what I do. I run mentorship programs because I realize a lot of parents are busy. They don't have time to mentor their children. So while I am also busy, but I can begin, they will pay for it. So I do it one day a month. Every last Sunday of the month, I have these young people I mentor. I've been mentoring them for this year. We started in January. So every last Sunday of the month, we have the mentorship program. So my son is also benefiting because he's a teen. On 30th of this month, we are hiking Ngong Hills as one of the course requirements. Then December, we are graduating. And the young people have gone through mentorship for 1 year. They have learned skills. The parents have paid. I have earned. The parents are happy. I'm happy too. So your gift is benefiting us here in church. And then you are here, you are begging us for money for your wedding and for your school fees. And we are using you here. Instead of you, stop being helpless. Use your gift. Don't think that you take our children, now you are taking care of our children, then you come begging us. We never respect you, by the way. When we give you money, we don't respect you. The same way when you come beg us money for your wedding, we just look at you and say, na vile tuliwafanyia harusi. And we are entitled to ask you, when are you getting a child? You have to explain to us because we are a joint, we are co-owners in this project. So if you are taking too long, you owe us an explanation. And when the first child comes and it's taking too long, you must tell us when the next one is coming. This is our project. Tell us, you must tell us. And you will feel bad and complain, but did you feel bad when you asked for my money? You didn't, so you can't. And if anything happens and you part ways, you must explain. This was our project, we invested. So tell us, kuliendaje? We have every right to know, to ask you questions, isn't it? There's a saying I like using so much, I've used it before. It's an African saying that says, when a goat has been slaughtered in public, everybody has a right to know where the head and the legs went. You slaughtered your goat in public. So don't start telling us it didn't have a head, it didn't have legs. It had. Bring the legs and the head so that we can see. Sindio? So the point I'm saying is that you need to maintain your dignity. You can ask for help when you're absolutely not able. But don't think that because you're using your gift to benefit our children, we can now help you. We can, but your support, your assistance should end on Sabbath. The rest of the week and 6 days shall you labor and do all your work. Remember what we said earlier on. This faith that you have, your words, your actions, and your thoughts, are they aligned? Anytime I tell people that and they start manipulating me, when they are calling me for a Sunday, and I'm telling them, for Sunday you have to pay, and then they start saying, Kazi ya Mungu, I'm like, have you read your Bible? For 6 days shall you labor and do all your work. I'm laboring. How am I going to feed my family? I'm laboring. So you pay, it's a Sunday. But a Sabbath, that one I will come. But Sunday, no, it's not for free. So please, let me not find you, but you can do it if you want. You have your gift, you're offering it for free, and you're saying the way you have no job. monetize your gift. You can always, I'm not saying you move to another church worship. I'm not talking about worship, but I'm saying your gift will be appreciated elsewhere. Achana na sisi wa Adventista. Peleka your gift, utalipwa huko kwingine. Sawa? Volume iko sawa lakini. Okay, any question or any comment? I think I'll pause here and take any question, any comment. We have somebody right there. Help us with the mic. And if somebody wants to write a note, please write. Please, as you take, don't ask a question for your uncle or the girlfriend of your cousin. Please, ask your own question. Because we don't, masaa ni machache, mambo ni mengi. Tena hatutaki kugossip hapa kwa kanisa. So uliza swali yako, unless mtu alikutuma. Yeah, please go ahead.
Happy Sabbath. Happy day. First, I want to appreciate the speaker for the great sermon that we had in the morning. And as young people, I'm a bit transformed from what I've learned today. When you spoke about Joseph, the obstacles that he went through, up to the end, we see he's becoming now a leader. Now he's given a great opportunities. As young people also, there are challenges that we go through. Like Joseph, he went through a lot of obstacles. The reality in life is that as young people, we need to be prepared for that. To be so successful in this life doesn't mean that you have to walk a soft path. We need to be prepared. And as we go through this, we need to have that faith. Like Joseph, he had that faith. That's why he had to succeed. As young people, we tend to get to a lot of challenges. Like there's some who are jobless. They are graduates, yeah? They were so good, they were so smart, they went to school. At the end of the day, there are no opportunities in life. You find these guys are a bit depressed. And then when you are told that you go out, there are many opportunities that you can do. First of all, let us recognize that business is extremely hard. We need to be real in life. Like the system that we have, the current, like where we are currently. Someone may tell you, oh, you can start, like I give a scenario. One person told me that you can start even selling jugus. It has a lot of profit. I actually wonder, those jugus, I haven't seen any person who has become rich because of those small things. There are challenges in life as young people. There are graduates. There are jobs they cannot feel like to go and do. Yeah? As a speaker, how can you help these young people to really understand that their path, that unaweza pitia all these struggles, at the end of the day you become victorious. But remembering kwamba huyu ni mtu amesoma, is a graduate, kuna ile unamwambia aende mjengo pia, yeah? There are things like the Gen Zs right now. Ukimwambia aende mjengo, hiyo ni another story. But there are those who have been brought up to challenges, want to understand that you can go through these and you become successful. That's why it's like a tricky situation for us, that how do we balance this life? Yeah.
So yeah, that's a good question. In fact, I've just remembered. First of all, let me say that that part of being book smart sometimes can be a curse. When you are book smart, sometimes you can be so entitled because you think that the world is going to bow because you had that grade. When I was talking to the young people in Kisii Central over a camp meeting, one of the things some of those young people told me, I gave them an illustration that I'll give you in my house. And these young people told me, your children are very lucky. I said they don't think they are lucky. And the young people told me that sometimes they want to go and hustle and do things, their parents discourage them. And they tell them, you cannot do such a thing, utaniaibisha. If your parent told you that, they are doing a great disservice to you. So the part, it's not about getting rich through selling jugo, it's about the skill set that you're learning. Many people who are able to do many things now, they made money when they were in primary school, below 15 years. Skills are learned by 15 years. If you have not learned certain skills by 15 years, it becomes very hard. Even your parents, the ones who made money when they were before 15 years, now they are thriving. But the ones who didn't, who just focused in school, they are now waiting to be paid, and account haijawalipa 3 months, and they are stressed. Wanabeba matawi because they never learned, they focused on books. So the part of njugu or makaa, it's not so that you can be rich, but it's because there's a skill set it's teaching you. Growing up in my family, there's nothing we didn't sell. We sold omena, we sold njugu, we sold fish, we sold mtumba, we sold cereals, we sold everything. Because my mother was widowed when we were very young. I was maybe 2 years, and she's not very educated. She's not educated, so we just had to work, even dig people's shambas. We did everything because we knew that as long as it's legal, you do it. So for me, fortunately for that, I don't have it in my mind that as a graduate, whatever, there's nothing I cannot do. I have planted sukuma wiki and spinach and kunde when I was living in Ongata Rongai, and I've sold. I used to go to work with my boot full of vegetables. When we finish working, I tell my colleagues, niko na mboga hapa organic. They come, they pick their sukuma wiki, their spinach, they pay me money. I used to wake up at 5 a.m., I go to Gikomba. I buy clothes. Then I carry the clothes because I know my colleagues are busy. They don't have time to buy clothes for their children. I tell them I have clothes. They come to my car, they pick the clothes. I made the money through that. I don't have it because I said as long as it's genuine, any money is money. So it enables you to learn the skill. And so you learn that business is not easy. You fail by selling mutumba. So later on, you have already learned how to rise. So that's it. So I told myself, there's something I'm going to give my children is their ability and capacity to know that they can make money. So one time when they were very young, we went to Kisii. We got avocados, a lot of avocados. They ripened. We were living in a hospital at the time, within the hospital. The avocado, they remember to date, the avocados ripened, so many of them. And I told them, go with the avocados to the road you sell. They were young, they were under 10. So they carried the avocados in a bucket. They went outside the hospital. Within a short time, they came with money. They have sold all the avocados. Because I said, guys, these avocados, instead of them going bad, just go and sell. They sold the avocados. They come back. So they started learning that, you can actually make money selling things. Right now, as we are speaking, and I'm not saying this from a place of bragging, but just to inspire you, everybody in my house is earning money. I have 13, 19, 21, and 25. Everybody has been earning money for a long time. So when my 13-year-old son went to school, he loves football. So he had football jerseys. And his friends told him, hey, your jerseys are so good. How can we get them? He said, I can actually sell to you jerseys. Because it's about the mindset. You learn the mindset of possibility. He came home and said, Mama, my friends want my jerseys. And I asked, how much did you tell them? He said he told them and put a markup of some amount. So he said, let's go to the market. We went. We bought jerseys from the market. He took to his friends and he earned and he saved in his account. And I said, for any money you earn, I top it up as we send to the bank. So he got very excited. So over time, he listens when his friends are saying, I love this. You have nice manatees. He says, I can actually get them for you. Then he comes and says, Mama, where you got the manatees? Go and get. I've told my friends, they are 3,000, for example, and you got for 2,500. And he sells. And he says, I've sold the manatees. So it's about having the mindset of possibilities. And you see, you don't wait until you are a graduate. That's when you are looking at the njugus to sell. There are people, when they are studying, they are selling njugus. There are people who are very good at baking. They will bake cake and take to class. When people are rushing to go for break, we had a classmate like that. When people are rushing to go for break, she says, I have cake. And people buy cake. And at the end of the day, she has made money. It's about training your mind. And when you have trained your mind, now even as a graduate, you will think about possibilities. Business is very hard, especially when you're starting it already in your adulthood. We said, if you've never earned money, and you're 15 and above, it's going to be tough, but it's possible. But it's possible because your brain has not been trained to see opportunities. You don't think that way. But you need to begin thinking opportunities and possibilities. Yes, yeah, please, your hand has been up.
Okay, thank you for giving me time. I have a question. So I believe ambassadors are here, those who are 18 years, 20, because me, I already passed. So I have this question. So you said about earning earlier, and I remember I want to give you an example on me, what happened. So when we grew up, my father used to tell us, go to study. He used to beat us, go and study. You have to become someone. But when I looked at him, because my father was a farmer, even a businessman, so I used to see him. He used to farm only five tons of potatoes, and he harvests 30 tons of potatoes. So I used to think, if I started earlier to be a farmer, where will I be today? So I would be one of the good farmers in my country, if I started that time. But what happened, my father used to refuse us to go and do farming. He said, you have to go and study, don't come and do farming. Because farming is for us, you go and study and become someone. He paid for me primary school, secondary, bachelor's degree, even he paid for me a master's degree, right? So, and my question is, in the past, maybe even today, some parents are not allowing their children to join them in their own business or to teach them how to earn money.
Yeah.
They told them, you go and study and become someone. Today, I'm working for someone else. So if I started that time, I would be a good farmer and own my own business. But now I'm finding myself in working for others. But I still have a chance then to do everything.
Yeah.
So what can you give advice to young people who are here, who are 17, 20 years, if their parents are not allowing them to do business, what can they do?
So on that part, actually, I apologize on behalf of the parents because they didn't know any better. It's what they were thinking at the time. They were limited, but that's a great disservice. Because you will find a parent has employed people in their shop and their child has been on strike for 3 months. The institution has been on strike for 3 months, and this child is sleeping, scrolling on TikTok and wasting time, and the parent cannot employ them. I thank God because I've employed my children in what I do. My son does my admin work, I pay him, because I believed also in empowering and working myself out of a job. I want my children not to need me. That is my greatest success as a parent. My child can be at a place where they don't need me as such, okay? So as you as a young person, you now realize that your parent didn't know any better. So they limited you from the opportunities of exposing you to their tools of trade because they wanted the best for you. But now you have realized sometimes what you can even do, you can even start doing things chini ya maji. It's not that you are being secretive, but it's privacy. Because you know that sometimes you tell them and they begin telling you, no, wewe huwezi fanya hii. Fortunately, some younger parents are now beginning to see. But for those who our parents didn't give us an opportunity, forgive them and now know that you have a chance. And begin to do things small, fail and keep rising up. Try, fail on this one, try another one. My desire for you is that you can have at least even 5 income streams. So that when one has dried, you have another one. There are people who get so depressed, they take away their lives because they have lost a job. because they don't have another opportunity. But I have some university students who, when there's a strike, they are so happy because they say, now I can go further to do this and earn money. But others, when others are taking away their lives, somebody told me in one of the institutions, this year they have had 12 suicides, and they were heightened, especially during the strike of the lecturers. 12 suicides, mostly affected at the boy child. It's boy child affected. And they leave suicide notes. They are so discouraged. They are so demoralized. They have seen the way the parents are struggling. They don't want to go back home. They are here. They need money for upkeep. They strike. There is no end in sight. And they take away their lives. And I see that if they learn coping skills, if they learn to take their gift to the marketplace, because I believe that we have many gifts. So if I was now in your father's shoes and now I know better, I will tell you, you can go to school and be a teacher, an architect, whatever, and still be a farmer. So I will tell you, you can be farming potatoes, but also be a teacher. So be supported as you're studying, put all the effort in your studies as a teacher, but again, you can also be a farmer. You see, our parents were thinking in black and white. If you're a teacher, you're a teacher. No, you don't come dirtifying yourself farming. But now I want you to think possibilities. I want you to think different things. You can do different and related things, and you will discover that even the one you didn't study is the one that you're making the most. Is there anyone else who has anything they want to ask or say?
Happy Sabbath.
Happy day.
Yeah, to me, ningependa ya kwamba kuna some business opportunity, but according to the Bible, unapatanga hii biashara unaani, lakini kulingana na maandiko ya Biblia siendani pamoja. For example, kuna ufugaji wa nguruwe. Nowadays, vile nimefanya my research, ukifanya hiyo ufugaji wa nguruwe, you can earn more. So, utafanya aje?
Is this working? So hiyo swali, unajua kwa nini inaweza kukuconfuse? Ukiwa kama huna values zako. First of all, it's good that you have said kulingana na Biblia. Lakini wewe, unaamini hiyo Biblia? Unaiamini? So kama unaamini hiyo Biblia na unaishi kulingana na hiyo Biblia, hiyo itakuchanganya aje? The point is that first of all, what we are learning from the Bible, are you embracing it? Are you owning it? If you have owned and you have believed that this is not aligned to my values, you don't go for it. There are many things. Hata kama si ufugaji wa nguruwe. Do you know there's a lot of money in alcohol? There's a lot of money in bangi. There's a lot of money in mihadarati. Najua kuna pesa mingi sana. There's a lot of money. But the question is, are we just going to do something because it has a lot of money? No. First of all, we are going to do something that is aligned to our values, as Christians, according to what the Bible says. That is where you begin from. And once now you are there, the rest is not confusing. Because kuna vitu mingi. It is not just the nguruwe, it's not just the drugs, it's not what, but there are many other things you can do. So we need to ask God to open our eyes and to show us there are many possibilities. But as Christians, we don't go for something just because it has money. We also want the Lord to bless the work of our hands. And we want whatever we are doing, it is a blessing to us, it's a blessing to others, and also it blesses the work of God. You see? So think about your values and always do what is aligned to your values. Yes. Is there anybody else? If you want to pass, you can write and pass. Maybe you don't want to ask. Unajua hata kuna watu wana supply, wanafanya tenders. Iko watu wana supply tenders na wanatengeneza pesa mingi sana. Lakini wewe kama Mkristo, is that what you really want to do? You will not be at peace even doing it. So there are many things. There are people who, maybe you're working somewhere, unaletewa bribe. Unaambiwa shika hii pesa and this is what, and you give us this opportunity. And you know you can do it. You just need to do it. But you need to choose, is that something that you really want to do as a Christian? Is that something you really want to do? No. If that's not what you want to do, then you ask God to guide you so that whatever you're going to do is going to be to do something. It's going to be something that is aligned to your beliefs. Okay? So I hope that you have learned something, and I'm looking at what I'm just going to share with you as I end. But if you have no question for me, then I will ask you, what's your take-home message for today? You already have the mic, so you can go ahead, Collins. What is your take-home? Is there something that you have learned today that you probably didn't know, or now it's refreshed? Yes, please, Collins.
Happy Sabbath. My take home is we as young people, of course, there are a lot of points that that personally I'm taking home, but what I've picked from this session is you've said you work, that is something I've picked, you work 6 days. So the seventh day is
I'm working for the Lord. I'm usually working for the Lord. Like, am I resting now? See, I'm working. I'm working for the Lord the seventh day.
Yeah, so if at all Daktari does not rest, I think even us as young people, we have no excuse. We have to push ourselves. As she has said, we've all started life at different levels, so there is no excuse. And to me, I'd say even if you've started life on top, I think there is satisfaction and there is beauty in making your own money, or just succeeding on your own without your parents telling do this, ama fanya hivi. Of course, if you have the benefit of someone putting you somewhere and pushing you, please do take it. But kuna ile satisfaction ya you making it on your own. So there is no excuse for us as young people. If she's working 6, if she's working 7, I think if there was an 8th day, we as young people need to do 8. Yeah, thanks.
Thank you so much. Yeah, so me, I rest on the way. See, there's some people they say, today I'm resting. By the way, and I know when this is posted on social media, people will say, oh, it's very important to rest. What has that rest helped you with? Anyway, you can rest. But me, I rest on the way. Like now, fortunately, my husband will be driving me. So I'm resting as he's driving me. So I'm resting this 1 hour. Then when I get home, I take a shower, I begin working. Then I wake up in the morning tomorrow, 4:30, I start working. See me, I just rest on the way. So I'm just resting. I do things on the way, yeah? But you don't have to do that way. But I like also what Collins has said, that there is satisfaction that comes. And actually, that's what one of my sons told me 2 weeks ago. He was telling me, you know, Mommy, there is some confidence that is coming, and I feel very competent that I'm able to earn my money. I don't want you to give me money. I just want to earn my money and spend it, because he who pays the piper calls the tune. And you see, wherever there is money, there is power. Wherever there is power, there is money. And you know, the best gift your parents can give you is not money, because money, you can just get it within a short time and it can go. But if your parents can give you skills, that's an advantage. You see, they can give you skills. If they can show you possibilities, even by watching them. Sometimes maybe you have heard stories that your parents have told you where they have come from. Sometimes you can get bored and irritated by our stories of that we walked bare feet in a bowl. Like, you know, we walked bare feet, we slept hungry, you know, that kind of thing. I know it can be boring, but I want to say that just pick the lesson there. Like you can say, if they walked bare feet and now they are wearing good shoes, if they were homeless and now they have a home, you know, like that part where a light bulb moment comes. Remember what I told you about my client, that she made me see possibility. She didn't give me money. Okay, she paid me for the work, but she just made me see that actually I've been self-limiting. You mean I can do it? And I did it, and I did another and another, and I saw that possibilities. So truly, truly, you've just, thank you. Oh yeah, so that part of yes, the possibility, the seeing is so good. You know, when somebody does for you something, it makes you feel incompetent because you feel like I cannot do it. But if you want to learn confidence, if you want to be able to do something, learn by doing one small thing by yourself. By the way, even as young people, even as you are, I know we didn't talk much about relationships, but even as you are, don't think that you need to see, how do I want to say this? Don't think that you are too young, somebody is too young to demonstrate the capability and the capacity to take care of themselves. Don't. At this age, let me tell you, you can see somebody even at this age and you can know who is an investor and you can know who is an eater. If you want to be an eater, that's okay. There's no problem. There are people whose mission in life is to eat. So there is no problem. And then they are married to an eater. Most likely you will go with the speed of an eater. Mutabaki na eater. That's the way it goes. So you need to look and ask yourself. There's a time when I was in university, there was somebody who was interested in me. We were not dating or anything, but he was interested in me. And this person had worked for 5 years. The person had worked for 5 years and they did not even have a radio. They had good clothes, they ate good food, they lived in a clean house, but they didn't even have a radio, they didn't even have a piece of land. But they were very nice, they were handsome, they came from a good family, they were good Christians, they were even preachers, they even used to preach. So maybe I would think that because I'm a preacher, hey, we could maybe have made a pair for mission, for Christ. But it really disturbed me that this person had not invested. I didn't want his money or anything, but I didn't see. So I told my mother, this person, I don't think I want to accept his proposal. Then my mother said, but why? He's a Christian, he comes from a great family, he's handsome, he's everything. I said, no, I am very disturbed that for 5 years, I was still a student, they have not invested in anything. You know, for that reason, I left the person. I didn't leave him, but by the time he said he's interested in me, I told him I'm sorry. And he couldn't believe it because he ticked everything. But I told him I'm sorry. Because for me, I was clear, I want to be an investor. I'm not going to be paired with a dresser and an eater. It's good to dress, to eat, but that's not going to be my life. So I left that person, mainly for that reason. So sometimes you can observe, you can see when somebody has money, do they just spend it? Anyway, someone has asked a question. Thank you for the powerful message. Is doing salon wrong according to the Bible? I don't see anything wrong about doing salon. I know personally, unless somebody has any other information, but for me, I don't see anything wrong about salon. Maybe you need to ask, why are you thinking that there's something wrong with salon? I don't think so. Yeah, good. You want to say something? Then we can be winding up.
Just a question. It's one thing that we want to move to the next step, but there's that fear of moving to the next step. For example, I might be good in speaking, but I fear the point of where will I work and how will I start. The fear of starting, it's something that I currently have, but I'm asking for help. How do you manage that? Or how can you advise on that?
I think most people have that fear. The ones who are privileged not to have the fear are the ones who manage to get parents, especially, who are able to support and push them when they were young. But for the most part, most of us have that fear. So how do you move to the next level? You begin by volunteering within your circle. I personally started by volunteering within the church space. I volunteered to speak to the pathfinders, to the what within the church space. I would take them out on Sunday and then I speak. Then parents begin saying, oh, you are very good. Please, can you take our children and talk and speak to them? Then they would say, no, we need to give you something. How much are you charging us? I didn't know whether there's something. I'm like, no. Then they're like, no, we have to give you something. Then I started saying, you mean I can do it? Then people would keep saying, but start volunteering. Then in the neighborhood, within the church space, within your circles, maybe you have cousins, you have nephews, you have nieces, begin speaking to them, for example. Whether if you are in university, you are in school. In high school, I used to ask for permission to speak during assembly. On Monday and Friday, we used to go for assembly. Then I used to tell the prefect, I have something to share. Then I will write down a speech, maybe something like effective study habits. And I will draw from research and what has worked for me. Then I go in front, I'm very shy, I'm stammering, but I say effective study habits. Of course, after that, I feel horrible, but I keep doing it again. So start volunteering within your space, and then after that, you may need somebody to hold your hand. You need a mentor, and you may need to invest in paid service. I personally had to hire coaches to work with me, to help me start my company, to help me begin to monetize the skill, because I was very scared. I would go when I'm asked, how much are you charging? I don't know what to say. I'm even doubting myself. Then my coach will tell me, no, say this. I'll be called to go to some spaces and I'm like, no, I don't think I can do it. Then I talk to her. She says, no, you say yes, then we figure it out. So she told me your default answer is yes, then we'll figure it out. So anytime I'm scared, I just go, then that way I was able to be coached to get into that space. So you can get somebody to coach you, you can get somebody to mentor you. All of us need that person because we feel scared. But ultimately, I must say, feel the fear, but do it anyway. You cannot drive a parked car. Neither can you swim when you are not in the water. You must get in the water. Be scared, be terrified. What's the worst that can happen? Make mistakes and you learn from your mistakes. Sometimes we see people standing and speaking and we think they just happened. There are a lot of hours that have been spent backstage, learning and rehearsing and practicing and reading and doing it over and over again. And yet when you look, you think it comes very easily. And you're wondering, hey, for me, why can't I do it? It has taken many years and a lot of persistent effort and hard work. Okay? One of my family members was asking me one time, they said, hey, can I also do what you do? I said, you really want to do what I do? Can you wake up at 2 a.m.? And they said, oh, do I on Sunday, on Saturday after church, can you wake up on Sunday 2 a.m.? Can you wake up and sit down and study until 6? Then after that, you go for work. They said, oh, okay. I said, yeah, before you ask somebody you want to do what they do, you don't know. What you're seeing is a tip of the iceberg. 1%. There's 99% underneath. But the beauty is all of us have what it takes. The fact that somebody can do it, you also have the ability to do it. Finally, let me say, one of my sons is studying architecture. He has really inspired me a lot, my second-born son, but he loves music. This I'm just saying to encourage you that sometimes your parents may not be catching the vision. He likes music. Me, I'm not musical. So I don't understand what that is. So anytime he says recording music, he says, Mommy, I've recorded my songs. They are on Spotify. I'm having what? I don't know Spotify. I don't know what is streaming. I don't know anything. So I told him, son, I can't help you. I know what you're studying, this course you're studying. This architecture, I understand. It has to do with buildings. But you're going to miss it, Joey. Then I would notice that he would spend time he would be on the laptop, maybe 19 hours a day. He would be on the laptop for 19 hours. And the 3 hours is either quickly having a meal, taking a shower, or sleeping like 2 hours. And I'm like, what is this you're doing on your laptop all this time? And then he said, I am teaching myself. And sometimes, as I told you, planting season, sometimes there's something that he's doing, hataki kuachia katikati, he wants to finish it. And ni kitu ya kujituma. So he said, I am teaching myself to do this. Then after some time during the strike, he actually told me, I've gone on TikTok, I have looked for a job, I've been called for an interview. So this day he's telling me he's been called for an interview to do work related to this music thing, whatever it is. So I was taking him for lunch. And then he tells me, hey, mommy, we only have to have lunch until 2:30. That was about 1:30. He says, I just have 1 hour for lunch. I said, no, me, I came here planning to have lunch with you until 4:05. He says, no, at 2:30, I've scheduled an interview on Zoom. So I have to leave you there. I go somewhere, I do the interview. So I said, He said, no, I have to do the interview. So me, I'm eating, he's going to do the interview. I feel like following him, and so that I can help him answer the questions. But I had to tell myself, no. So he goes, he does the interview, says, these guys have given me a job, so I have to be going for the job. It doesn't matter how much, but amejitafutia, amefanya interview na amechukuliwa. So then he told me, mommy, you never understood what I was doing on the laptop for all those hours. But I was teaching myself online. That's why I'm telling you, there are things you can do online. He said I was teaching myself. I got certifications and I've got a job. So when the others are on strike, they are sleeping, he was working at a media station, whatever that is. So the strike ended, he's back in school. But over the weekend, like now, he will go there tomorrow, the whole day, to do the job. He'll go there to do the job. Public holiday, he'll go there. During the holiday, he'll go there because it's something he has taught himself. Me, I didn't understand. And I was killing his dream. Because I'm like, what are these things unashinda tu hapa? So sometimes your parents, they don't know everything. They are not supernatural. We will discourage you. We will burst your bubble. We will just tell you are an engineer. What are these other things that you're doing? But please, when you do it now, when he brought you to the table, he said, Mama, I feel very confident. Me, I don't want your money. I just want to earn my own money. So I said, now it's easier for him to actually go and do more because he believes he can actually go look for a job, apply. Me, I don't know those people, schedule the interview. I'm not coaching him to answer. He has done the interview. He has been taken. There is something that he does to you. When you can do something, hata kama niyo njugu, for example, uuze na upate pesa, it will do something to you. The next moment utauza njugu, pengine utauza simiti. The next time pengine utauza hivi. And everybody will tell you, those people who have done something, we never see the journey. We like to just look. We're like, they are here. But we don't get a chance to look at the journey, to see the failures, to see the tears, to see the sweat. We don't get to see the blood. But all of it is there, yeah? So you can do it. But please don't leave here and say, I've told you to work 8 days a week. It's a choice. I have made the choice, okay? You can make that choice if you want. But me, I realize the work that I do, if I'm very rigid, that 5 nimefunga kazi, I have clients from other continents. So when I have a client and according to the time zone, my Kenyan time is 2 a.m., me, I will wake up. I will wake up at 2 a.m. because that is according to the time zone. So I'm flexible in that way. If it's Sunday, that is the only time they have time because they are working the whole week. Me, I will avail myself that Sunday. I'm flexible in that way, okay? But for you, if you believe in work-life balance, that is also good for you. But for me, that is not a reality right now. But I do rest in between. But it's just that I don't stay at a whole day. I'm resting. I will rest 1 hour. I rest another one here and there. See, I told you I go to for lunch with my son. So I managed to go for lunch with the children and take a walk and go to the gym every day. So at least I do something. Yeah, okay. Apart from Sabbath, of course. I go every 6 days a week. Okay, wonderful. I hope that has helped you. Yeah, so please, the earlier you try, the better. So keep trying and keep growing and keep rising. Yeah, and have people who believe in you. And especially look at people who have done it. Look at people who have done it. If you stay here depressed at people who have not done it, you'll be disappointed. Look at the stories of people who have been able to do it. Then you realize that it's also possible for you and even much more. Because some people have even figured it out with no mentors. Some of us have gotten into spaces where we didn't see anybody ahead. But you're like, I don't know what it is, but I'm going to navigate. But for you, when at least you have somebody who have charted the path, I think the path should be a bit clearer. Okay? Okay, good. I think I answered. It was one question which I've already answered. Any final word from anybody? Then I pray and we call it a day. Anybody wants to say something? Okay, let's take that one, then we pray.
what I want to say, for the young people who are still 18, 20, 25, so it's better to learn a skill, any skill earlier. So that skill can help you to earn. Even if we are studying, so learn something else. That something else will help you to earn other money. Because I remember I learned to play football just as a joke. But I used to earn 200 USD every week.
Oh.
Every week. Just playing. It's just only skills. So you can learn even playing keyboard. And the people can pay you by only teaching them how to play. So anything you can learn will help you in the future. Yeah, thank you.
I think that is very, very helpful. Anything that you can learn is going to help you in the future so that you're not desperate. Because I know each and every one of us, there's a skill that you have. There's something that comes very easily for you. And the beauty also is that the world has become a global village. So you now have places where even the skill that is not valued here will be valued in other parts of the country. In fact, for me, the skill that has made me to travel is not the course that I did, which I did excellent. I'm an A student, so I got an A plane. And I told you how much time I put in studying my course as a pharmacist. But the gift that has brought me before kings and that has made me speaking in almost all the continents, online and even physical, but mainly online, I've spoken to every continent, and I've had clients from every continent in the world. It is not that skill of the course I studied, but it's a skill of speaking that I had when I was a child. Otherwise, if I did not learn this skill, I was going to be a pharmacist working for the government, and the farthest I have gone is Machakos Technical. Technical College, I'm just saying. Of course, there are people who still do whatever courses and they go far. But for me, I'm just saying that this gift that I took by God's grace to the marketplace is the one that has brought me before kings. So please, take time, wake up early, reflect on that skill, and begin applying that skill right from home. And then you expand your skill to the global stage. And I look forward to seeing you on the other side. Amen? Okay, let's pray. Father, in Jesus' name, thank you for what we have learned this afternoon. I pray that we may not just be hearers, but doers of the word. I know that there are young people who are feeling like they are so late. I know that you will restore the years that the locust ate. There are those who are very fearful. I know that you do not give us a spirit of fear, but a spirit of power, of love, and of a sound mind. I pray that you may give them the spirit of fear, that your spirit may enable them to conquer all fear that they may be having. Lord, I pray that you may open opportunities for those who desire to get into business. For those who desire to take their gift to the marketplace, I pray that you may help them. You may open opportunities for them, and you may give them people who will walk alongside them to motivate, encourage, and inspire them. For those who are looking for jobs, Lord, I pray that you may provide. There are some who are mature enough and they're looking to get into relationships. Please, God, give them godly spouses. For those who don't have peace with their parents, I pray that you may grant them, Lord God Almighty. I pray for each and everybody, whatever needs they are having, even those who are working, may you give them promotions that don't come from the east or from the west, but come from you. May you bless all of us, Lord. And even as you bless us, may we never forget the humble beginnings, but give us wisdom so that whatever areas we are getting into, they may be areas that honor and glorify your holy name. Be with us now and even to the end of the week and even the rest of this year and going forward. For it's in Jesus' name we have prayed and believed. Amen. God bless you.
Get the point. Take a step forward.